đầu chương trình ngày hôm nay bằng phần mời bác Laurent sẽ chia sẻ thông tin và giới thiệu về trường AIVancity. Je pense que pour respecter l'agenda, je suis heureuse de vous inviter à faire des présentations sur AIVancity en anglais.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. AIVancity is a school 100% dedicated to artificial intelligence, based in France, with two campuses, one in Paris and one in Nice. But our English program are in Paris. You see my screen now? Yeah. Let's try now to put it on a big thing. So today we're going to talk about artificial intelligence, because I understood that this is the topic of this webinar. So before going into the presentation of AIVancity, let me give you a few insights, few information about the world of AI. First of all, I like to start any introduction about AIVancity to give some dates and some information about the when everything started. So everything started in 1956 at the Dartmouth conference, and you can see it's a very long time ago, 70 years back. That's when experts in this field decided to gather, share their work, build joint projects, and name this activity artificial intelligence. Actually, a very, very long time ago. The second date I like to mention is November 22, which is the launch of ChatGPT, and I think that everybody is aware of this launch, because this launch has been incredible and very, very massive, because in just 2 months, ChatGPT has reached 100 million users when it needed 4 years to Google and 10 years to Netflix. So it gives you an idea of how strong and how massive this innovation has been used by the global population. And now we are counting about 400 million users every week. But why that is possible now? Now are we talking too much today about artificial intelligence, having in mind that it's such an old technology? It's because there have been, for the past 20 years, some very important innovation that have changed the life and the reasons of AI, which is an alignment, what I like to call my 3 planets, which are big data, computers, and storage. First of all, let's talk about big data. Big data, we know that when we talk about artificial intelligence, big data is the fuel of AI. With no big data, you don't have any AI. And we know that we have created more data for the past 2 years than compared to the beginning of the century. And we know that we are going to multiply this number of big data by 7 within the next 5 years. So it gives you an idea of how important the data are in our world and how massive are this subject. The second thing that we need in order to exploit this big data is computers, and in particular the computing powers of those computers, in order to be able to manage and take something out of this big data. We need very, very strong and very powerful computers. And now we have it. Maybe you have heard about a company which is called NVIDIA, which has become in just few years one of the most important company in the tech field, even bigger than the big GAFAM, because they can produce these chips that those computers need. And finally, the third thing that we need in order to have this complete ecosystem is the data centers. Now we have more than 4,000 data centers everywhere in the world. It has become a very strategic development and investment, because it can store in a very secure way the big data that is necessary. So that's about technology. But for us, and in particular in this field, and you all can imagine this subject is beyond these technical aspects, we believe that we need to consider two things that are essential, which is first, what impact does it have on the business? And second, what impact does it have today and will it have in the future in our life and in the society? And that's a big challenge for our world. Now let's have few definitions. If we want to understand what is AI, first let's try to define what is big data. Big data is generally called the 5 V's. Means the 5 V's are first the variety of the data, that it can be videos, it can be text, it can be image, they can come from a YouTube, they can come from a file, they can come from the internet. So very different kind of data that comes in a very, very big volume. As we say, we're talking about petabyte of data, which is billions of data, and coming very, very fast into your system. So the faster it can come, the faster it can be computed, and the faster it can get results. In addition to those 3 V's, we have added 2 V's, which are very important, which is first the value of the data. We all can imagine that one data will not have the same value whether we are on the field of health or whether we are on the field of banking, as an example. And second important thing, which is veracity of the data, how true is the data and how solid is the data, because as we generally say in our world, garbage in, garbage out. So if you don't control the veracity and the accuracy of your data, the results that you would get from these data can be a problem. Second, let's try to give definition of AI. AI is a set of algorithms that gives a machine the ability to perform tasks usually dedicated to humans. So 2 things that we need to understand in this simple definition. First, algorithm, which is mathematics. AI is not intelligent at all. It's just usage of mathematics in a very, very strong way. And second, they are mimicking human behavior and human habits, and that's what AI is doing today. It's changing our industry, because today we know that in the field of healthcare, automobile, finance, education, robotics, gaming, social media, all where AI is already present and has a very strong impact. And it's even bigger than that. You can see some example. Obviously, I will not go into the details, but it's just to give you how important now AI is in our world, in our industry, and everybody is using AI, and sometimes without knowing it. One thing very important that we need to specify when we talk about AI and big data is the main fields of AI and big data, because very often there are big confusions between what is data science, data engineering, and data analytics. Many students, many schools, university make a confusion between that, but it's not the same job, it's not the same activity, and you don't require the same skills to go in one field or the other. Let's start with the one in the middle. The data engineer, he is a tech guy. He would come from computer science because his role would be to build the data infrastructure in order to store the data, to collect the data first, to store the data, and to clean the data. So as I said, his profile is very tech. When we talk about a data analyst on the field of data analytics, this is completely different profile. Their role is to use this data in order to interpret it and to make business and strategic decisions. So the first skills should be business mindset, capacity to communicate and to participate into the strategic decisions of the company. And finally, you have the data scientist, which is a third profile, who he's the one who's really playing with the algorithm, with the AI, in order to make either predictions or generate new contents. And his profile is another one, is mathematics. A good data scientist, a good expert in AI is a math person who plays with math, statistics, and programming. So you can see 3 different profiles for 3 different activities. If we want to summarize in a very simple way, a data engineer, he will be like converting, like having millions of Lego in a big warehouse that you will need to organize by colors, by pattern, and rejecting all the broken pieces. A data scientist would play with algorithm. What is an algorithm? It's just a set of rules to obtain an output from an input. In that case, inputs are data and output is just what you want them to do, either prediction, that's what we call predictive AI, or generate new content like ChatGPT with generative AI. And finally, you have the data analytics world. It will be making those charts in order to see very fast the KPIs, the key indicators, the key information that would enable us to make some accurate decision for a company. So basically, that's the 3 existing field of AI and big data.